questions after, we'll make sure to let you know how to do that. So thank you so much, Karen. Kayla, and over to you.
Thank you so much, Senator. Thanks for having us today. This is a really important issue for a lot of families. I'm a mom myself. I know that this can be kind of scary to try to navigate the world of our children's online world, and how now kids are working on computers and on social media more than ever. So we're going to give you a little bit of an overview of what the CAC is as a whole. And then after I do that, Kayla will talk specifically about some ways that you can help keep your kids safe when you're working online. You know, it's really important to know that most of what happens with kids when they are on social media or online is wonderful, great, positive things. So we don't want to put out there that the world is only filled with these dangers, but we have to be responsible, and we have to think about ways to help protect our kids as they navigate this. So that's what we're here for. If you know, there are additional questions, the CAC of Hampshire County is available to help you troubleshoot specific individual issues you might be having with your kids, or more global, you know, questions about what kind of online platforms are available. So, so Kayla, if you don't mind sharing starting the slideshow, and again, thank you, Senator, for having us today. So, as I said, the Children's Advocacy Center of Hampshire County is based in Northampton, but we are available to all of Hampshire County. The CAC, Children's Advocacy Center, we call the CAC, is an independent nonprofit. Our mission is to prevent and end child abuse in our community by providing safety, healing, and justice. We're located in Northampton. We provide services to abused children throughout the county. And since opening in 2006, we have helped more than 2,000 children. All of our services are free of charge and available for however long a child and family needs. So you might ask what a CAC is. CACs arose from a need to coordinate communication amongst the different agencies that respond to child abuse. What used to happen is if a child was disclosing abuse, they would be taken to a hospital, taken to a district attorney's office, taken to child welfare offices, to the police station. And that instead of that model, right now, everyone comes to us. They come to our home. All of those professionals come together, and we coordinate the care with an effort to minimize the additional trauma kids might face when they go through this really difficult process. So why is this necessary? I'd like to say that it wasn't necessary, but you know, the fact is that 1 in 4 girls are sexually abused before they turn 18, 1 in 6 boys, and 1 in 5 children are sexually solicited online. In Massachusetts, 84% of those who abuse kids are someone the child knows, loves, and trusts. You know, and someday, hopefully, we'll be out of a job. But for now, we're here to help kids and families navigate that system. So what we do is we coordinate these services for kids disclosing abuse. We provide medical, therapeutic, and educational referrals to train experts. We support caregivers with the appropriate community resources. We offer community education, training, and support. And we have specialized programs like YPSB, which is the Youth with Problematic Sexual Behaviors, and CSEC. And CSEC is the commercial sexual exploitation of children. And that's what we're here to talk about today. And I'd like to introduce Kayla Smith. She is our CSEC coordinator, and she's going to talk a little bit about tips and ways to sort of avoid pitfalls for your kids when they're working online. And again, just the fact that people are paying attention, you're already way ahead of most folks who you know, want to put their head in the sand about this. So this is, you know, nobody does this perfectly. The platforms change all the time, and it's really hard to keep up with. But all we ask is that, you know, everybody just does their best to try to stay ahead of what's coming down the pike, learn about what your kids are how they're spending their time online. And if you get stuck and you need help in figuring out how to set up some privacy, or your child gets in trouble online, the CAC is here to help. So Kayla?
Hi everyone. So just, I know we mentioned it briefly, but I'm just going to give you a little textbook definition of CSEC. It's a commercial sexual exploitation of children. So when any child under the age of 18 is engaging in, agreeing to engage in, or offering to engage in any type of sexual conduct, sexual activity, it can be in exchange for money, food, education, shelter. Once there's that exchange of something of substance, that's where the exploitation comes in. And it's referred to as the child sex trafficking by National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. And it's actually coming around more and more. It's the second largest criminal enterprise behind the drug trafficking. So how does it connect to online activity? Of course, with COVID, kids are spending more and more time online. They're spending a lot of their school hours online. Almost half of kids, 40% of kids between 4th and 8th grade have connected online with a stranger, whether it be on a social media website, if they're emailing, whatever it may be, they've talked to someone that they've never met online. And a lot of the times they're spending so much of their time on their phones, things become normal to them. And, you know, maybe earlier this year, they would send stuff to their friends and, you know, that's totally fine. But now as they're online more and more, things that they wouldn't do before starts to become normal, and they don't think twice before they send, you know, more personal information. You know, if you're messaging your friend, oh, let's meet up at this coffee shop, they may start sending information like that to strangers, and that's what we're gonna talk about and try to avoid. And then the prevalence of social media now, peer pressure, social influencers all have an impact on the behavior of how youth act on social media. If you see that a celebrity posts a certain type of picture and they get thousands and thousands of likes, the child is going to try to post those pictures because they want that status and they want to seem as one of the popular kids. Online privacy is one of the biggest concerns. According to NCMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, they had done a very extensive study and found about 46% of between 10 and 17-year-olds had given out personal information. So some of the things it included was not only their age, but where they live, what city, some gave their addresses, the schools they go to, different sports teams they're part of, the church they go to. So you really want to make sure you know what type of account your child has, how many accounts. Some kids have 2 or 3 Instagrams. And you want to make sure that you're aware of these, you're following or you're friends with them on there, and making sure that you're able to see what they're sharing. So these are some of the more popular social media apps: Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Tinder, TikTok, Kick, and Fortnite and Discord. So there's some social media and some gaming webs on there. So any app that's allowing a stranger to connect with a child is considered a social media application, whether they need to send a friend request, add them as a friend, however they need to do it. On some gaming websites, they can just send links. And again, they look to the social media to see how many likes they have, how many followers they have. And when you're a kid, and it starts even as young as 3rd or 4th grade, you weigh your self-worth and your self-esteem based off of how many likes you have, if you have a lot of friends on your Facebook, if you have a lot of Instagram followers. For teenagers, that's a very significant part of their age group. And predators know this, so they look at and they study a child's social media. They learn what they like, what they don't like, if they do certain sports, if they both love a certain TV show. And because of that, it's easy for a predator, to see the child's vulnerabilities, and that's what they're going to prey on. So I'm just going to go into a little bit more in depth about 2 of the more popular social media apps. So on Snapchat, there's no parental controls. So some apps you're able to have access to what the child is doing. On Snapchat, you're not able to, and their location, once you create an account, your location's set on public, so anyone can see. I'll show you a video of how to disable it. You'll see there's a map, and once you start that account, anyone will see your location on the map. Every time you open Snapchat, your Your little person will move where you are, so it's a constant track of where the child is. And anyone can add them as a friend. They don't need to accept a friend. It just shows that someone has added them. So, you know, if I posted a Snapchat and I put my friend's username in, any of my friends could add them, even though they don't know them. So I'm just gonna show this video to show how to disable the location. So you just click the picture in the top left, and then on the right, the little screw, you'll scroll down to the see my location, and it's automatically on my friends. You click the ghost mode. Some parents, if they don't have any other tracking, they can make it so it's only these friends. So you'll put only these friends, and you'll put whatever your Snapchat name may be. And then you want to change the contact, so only people that are friends with you, friends with the child, can contact them. So Instagram's another popular one. That's where a lot of celebrities, social media influencers that kids are following are posting on Instagram. Again, they don't have any parental control, so you can follow your kid and you'll see what they're posting, what they're saying, but there's no way that you can control anything on there that they do. Kids often will tag where the picture was taken, whether it be their high school, a field, and that really becomes a problem when they go to the same places all the time. If they have soccer practice at the same field and they always tag it, the predators will see their favorite restaurants, their favorite parks, things like that, and they can go and watch them. They can sit from afar, or they can use that to connect with them and say, oh, I know, you know, you love going to the Northampton High School on the weekends to hang out, like maybe we can go there one day. So you want to make sure that they're not putting their location anywhere on there. And links to porn can now be posted in someone's bio. So Instagram as a platform has settings and parental controls for pornography on there. But on the 2 screenshots we posted, there's the link tree, and then another popular one is the bit.ly. And once you click, it's a link right to their website. And if they do have porn on there, the porn will show up. There's not like an age restriction. There's no type of restrictions once you click that link. So the child, it'll just be right on their phone with no warning. And video games also have a chat feature, which whenever there's a chat feature, you want to be cautious of. PS4 and Xbox are mainly the 2 that have a concern. They both have different packages where you pay to chat. And once you pay, you can chat on any game, you can talk with people, anyone who's online. So you can talk to other countries, other states, anywhere in the world. You don't have to be friends with them. If you're friends with them, it's fine, but you can access people who aren't your friend, whoever's playing on that game. And then that becomes a problem because they may only be adding people as a friend that they know, but anyone who's playing that live game is going to be on the chat. And then even if you don't pay for the online games, there's now a separate website app called Discord, and that was really made for people who don't pay the premium settings for the video games, so they can go on those websites and chat. You do need an invite code to go onto the Discord, but once you're on there, they don't have any type of security features, word blockers. They firmly believe you can say whatever you want, the rights to privacy, which to an extent, for older adults that may be different what they're saying, but a lot of exploitation, pornography is sent, hate speech. So it's a really slippery slope when kids get into these chat rooms. And they'll only find out if someone reports it. So people can say anything that they want in these chat rooms, but if a child feels, oh, that's whatever, everyone says that, things like that. If no one reports it, the Discord will never know. And with this, a lot of times the perpetrators will act as a child also playing the game, and they'll build trust with the child and build a little bond with the child and convince them to send inappropriate images through the app itself. And then they may also ask them, do you have a social media? Do you have a Facebook? and they're going to use the Discord app to connect with them on other servers and websites. And one of the common themes with the perpetrators is they thrive on secrecy and fear. I'll talk about it a little when we get onto grooming, but they form a very, very tight bond with the kids. And, you know, if you tell, you're going to get in trouble, and they just scare the kids into keeping that secret. And that's how they're successful with getting the photos and not getting caught, essentially. So this is what I'll talk about for the grooming. The predators will befriend the child and establish an emotional connection. Essentially, it starts through 6 steps. So first, they target the child. They look through their social media, see what's posted on there, what the child says, and then they're going to identify what that vulnerability is, and that's what they're going to lean on. So if they see maybe a 12-year-old complaining about, you know, how she got grounded and she hates her parents and she wants to move out, they're going to message her and say, you know, I hate my parents too, like we should just move out together, things along that line, and build that bond with that common vulnerability. And the more and more they talk, they're going to engage more, maybe add them on every social media, become close on Instagram, and follow each other everywhere. And they're going to comment on the post, likes on the post. So the child feels a strong connection to the predator because they think it's just one of their friends. They don't think anything harmful is coming out of it. And then they're going to start testing the boundaries. They're going to try to understand, you know, what the dynamic is for that child. Are they close with their parents? Do they have a lot of friends? Do they get to go out a lot? And they'll say, oh, can you, you know, send me a picture of what you're doing right now? Do you think you could sneak out? Do you think you could tell your friend to cover for you and you could come see me? So that one can last a little bit, just trying to test the waters of what they can essentially get the child to do with them. And then they start isolating the child. They'll ask for photos, and they say, you know, no one loves you. You should just only care about me. You should come live with me. I'll take care of you. I trust you. We understand each other. And a lot of times that's where the trauma bond is built, and they begin to lean on this predator, thinking that it's someone, you know, their age, their new best friend, or maybe their boyfriend. And they start to tell them lies about the family. You know, your parents don't care about you. They don't care if you leave. You should just come be with me. We'll be happy. And then that's when they start turning into sexualizing the relationship. You know, have you ever sent photos? Have you ever had sex? I can show you how to do this. I can teach you. And that one, it typically starts with, you know, photos. They may be explicit. They may just send them photos. Sometimes they'll send a photo from another child and say, you know, so-and-so sent me a picture, so I don't know why you think it's a big deal. Like, it's your friend, we all do it. So that's a lot of the times one of the more traumatic parts, of course, because the child feels that if they go to their parents, they're going to be in so much trouble. And because of that, that's where they're able to control the child. They say, if you tell your mom, you're going to get in so much trouble. Like, you're going to be the one to go to jail because you sent the photo, I didn't. So it can be difficult to spot just because it is online and kids want to hide it because they don't want to be in trouble. So you just want to make sure the biggest way to prevent this from happening is making sure that you talk to your child, make sure they know, have a conversation with them, say, you know, people like this do exist online, and, you know, they may message you, they may contact you, but make sure the child feels safe and supported by you, because if they feel that they can come to you and they're not going to get in trouble, regardless of what that predator says to them, they're going to say, okay, I know I can talk to my mom, I can tell her what happened. And I think kids will know, you know, she might be a little upset, but she's not going to be mad at me. I'm not going to be grounded. She's going to be upset that I'm hurt, but just make them feel that it's a safe space, support them, and you're going to help them get away from the trauma. And I just want to talk a little bit about Chromebook, because I know a lot of the schools are giving out Chromebooks for kids for their schoolwork. So one of the most popular connections with Chromebook is Family Link. So it's an app that you can download on your phone. It works on iPhones, Androids, and you essentially will create an account, and you'll put in your child's email address. So you can put their school email address, and if they have a separate one. And if the child's birthday, it'll be on the system, of course. If they're under 13, it'll already have parental supervision. If they're older than 13, they need to send the invite to the parents themselves. The only thing with Family Link is it doesn't block porn or explicit content. You get notifications if a message sounds inappropriate, if you see them on a certain website and you're not sure what it is. So it does send you flags and notifications, but it won't block, if they click one of those Linktree apps and it goes to porn, it doesn't block that. So one of the ways to block the porn is enabling DNS from clean browsing. DNS has a very extensive, we could do like a whole day training on this. So if anyone has specific questions of how to do this, I'm more than welcome to talk to you one-on-one and kind of guide you through it. But essentially it's a Wi-Fi router, not a router, excuse me, a server you put through the router. So just like if you go to someone's house and you search their Wi-Fi network, you will go through the DNS and you'll go to the Wi-Fi, and then you go to the settings and where you would select the server. So say the Wi-Fi was, CAC Hampshire County, you would click it and then you can enter the server numbers, which I can give out after. There's a few different ones. I just didn't want to put too much information of overwhelming and kind of get anyone confused. So there's a few different ones that you can put in depending on if it's a Chromebook, if it's an iPad, Mac, anything like that. And it'll block any words that you put in. It automatically blocks porn websites. They have over 50 websites automatically blocked. And then on top of that, you can also purchase different routers. So there's a Gryphon router. It's a little pricey, but it'll block anything from any Wi-Fi. So it'll connect to your child's phone. So if they go to their friend's house or even if they're at school, they won't be able to access any pornography on their phones. So again, the DNS is a lot, and I'm more than willing to talk to anyone about a specific application you're using, technology you're using to help you set it up. But Protect Young Eyes also has an extensive list on the DNS with all the devices, all the different steps listed out. So that's another option as well. So what can you do as a parent? Like I said, make sure you have open communication with your kids. You want to make sure you tell them, what can happen online. And it can be scary for them, of course. It's going to be scary for you as well. But just making sure that they feel safe and supported when they come to you, that it's kind of an open door. They can come in, tell you what's wrong, and together you're going to figure out how to stop it. And check their friends list regularly. Encourage them to take anyone off that they don't know. Remind them you don't know them in person, so they have no reason to see what you're doing, no reason to see your pictures. And setting rules, not just for the kids, but for the family. If you want to keep the technology in the living room or no technology in the bedrooms, things like that. Know their passwords to whatever social media they have. If they have multiple accounts, make sure you have all the passwords for each one. And when they change them, make sure that you know when they change them. And monitor their usage. If they go from, using their phone maybe an hour to a day, and you notice they start using it 5 or 6 hours a day, they get antsy, and they get kind of upset when you tell them to put it away. That's something to be aware of. Discussing the dangers of social media, that there are people on there with bad intentions, and to protect that private information. I know a lot of teenagers now will put, their high school in their social media bios. So they may put, Northampton High School class of 2024, and someone can figure out a lot of information easily, having that information by just looking up the school's website. So making sure they don't have any information like that, and leading by example. If you're not following the rules, if you're on your phone all the time in your room for 8 hours a day, they're going to see that and say, well, if you can do it, why can't I? And I think it goes without saying that the older teenagers, 15, 16, if they see you not doing it, they're going to kind of fight you on it. And these are just some of the resources that I talked about. Protect Young Eyes is one of the best resources I've come across. They have all kind of videos on different social media, gaming, how to keep kids safe. I would definitely recommend them. Common Sense Media and Bark are both apps that you can download on your phone to protect and monitor what the kids are doing. And NetSmart has different resources going into online safety, telling kids about the different dangers, how to protect themselves, and they have videos for anyone as young as 6 or 7 years old up until teenagers. So it's different information in both of those so that it'll really get the information across to that age group. And then there's our contact information. Like I said, you are more than welcome to email or call if you have any questions or want to go more in detail about anything that we talked about. I know some of this stuff is really heavy. So even if you just want to talk and have a question, feel free to reach out to us. Kara, I don't know if there's anything you want to add. You're muted.
Thank you, Kayla. Yeah, I know it's a lot of information, and it can be, like I said earlier, it can feel sort of scary. But you know, it is part of what sort of destigmatizes that is just starting the conversation, talking with your kids, reminding them that strangers are strangers, whether they are in person or online. And also there's really wonderful things on social media, and kids get a lot of affirmation, and there's the vast majority of what your kids are going to do online is going to be healthy and happy, and it's going to make them engage in the world in a really important way, and to understand perspectives of other people in other places. And so we don't want to send the message that it is all this dark, scary place,
Right.
but we do want to help you make sure that you set the parameters that will help your kids stay safe.
Thank you so much. As a mom, I was scribbling notes, and I am, relieved that we are recording this and we'll make it available through the CAC, through our office. It was unbelievably rich information, important information. And I personally appreciate how you're balancing the use of social media as possibly a very uplifting tool for our kids, and then the need to use it right. And I also really appreciate the challenge that you're throwing down to caregivers, that we have to be fluent in these platforms like our kids are fluent, and we have to connect with them there so that we can have a deeper conversation while we also help protect them there. We have to figure it out, have conversations with them that are more in the harm reduction mode, right? Meeting them where they are and not punishing them for what is potentially scary for us as parents, meeting them there with that kind of capacity. So with that in mind, I actually have a question. The first question that's come in from Ginny. Thank you, Ginny. It's a weedy question about Discord. Can you set up a private chat room in Discord, or can anyone join that chat? And then Ginny's also wondering if there's a safer way to use Discord, for example, in a private chat with friends in real life.
Yeah, so Discord, it does have both options. So the private chat, someone will need to send you a link. So if I, set up a Discord, say for this training, the only people that would be into the room would have that specific link. And then everything that's said in there is just through the chat room itself. It won't ever be something public that anyone can just come into. But there's also the public chat rooms, and those will be right on the front of the website that anyone can join. So it may say, Fortnite chat or Facebook chat, whatever the chat's about, and anyone can go into those. So the safest way for the kids to talk would be through a private chat, because no one that they don't know would be able to get into those chats. So yes, there's the two different options.
Thank you so much. We have a second question that has come in via text, and that's about the use of family sharing on iPhones. So the question is essentially, what your view is of family sharing, if that's a useful tool in this larger social media toolbox, and if you have any counsel on that.
So the family sharing it definitely is useful.
And I think right, the second part of that is, sorry, it's just coming in now by text, the screen time limitations on iPhones.
I think I'll talk about the family sharing first. The only downside to that is you can't see their messages. So if someone's going through the messages through the, Instagram or Facebook, you're not going to be able to know whenever that's happening. So that's kind of the only downside to it. You'll know when they're on their phone and where they are, their location. But the settings on those, you can't get into those messages themselves. And then what was the second part of it? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I asked you a two-part question. It was about the screen time limit function.
So the screen time limit, I think, is just great for anyone, but especially the kids and the younger kids. You don't want them on any type of internet for hours and hours, the younger that they are, but especially for, I'd say 12, 13 up. A lot of times they need to have that social interaction, but they shouldn't be glued to their phone, because the longer they're on it, the more they can get into. So if they're scrolling on Instagram for 6 hours, there's nothing that's going to be refreshed that often. They're going to be going down loopholes, and they may find a celebrity. And if, Kim Kardashian tags someone in a photo, they'll click that person, and then they may end up finding a celebrity who, they may have those link trees in their bio, and the longer they're on, the more things that they're going to find and get into. And once they start clicking those links, how on whether it be Facebook, Instagram, sometimes the ads will pop up. The more often they click those links that go to porn, the more often it's going to be more X-rated ads popping up. So limiting to, an hour or two a day on the social media is really going to prevent them from finding anything that they shouldn't be seeing.
Please add, Carrie. Yeah.
It's slightly off topic, but I asked my 17-year-old daughter, like, what should we be telling people today? And she said, parents need to know that there's no stigma for kids to block other people. You don't know them. Encourage your kids to block people, and nobody cares. They move on.
Right.
And so she was a big advocate of just a quick block. If you're uncomfortable, start with, just blocking people and limiting their access to you. And that, it's a very common tool that teenagers are using.
Yeah, just to piggyback off that, I think a lot of kind of younger, probably like 13 or 14, they're afraid to delete and block right away, because they think, oh my God, what if they're going to get mad at me? Like, they're not going to want to be my friend. But if you don't know them, it doesn't matter if they're mad at you. And in the grand scheme of things, they're going to move on to someone else. So the more they get blocked, the more times someone rejects them, the less often they're going to be trying to do it anyways. So I agree. It's just block them.
Just block.
It's going to be a hashtag in the making.
Yeah,
just
that's
block.
right. Yep. For sure.
I actually have a direct message coming in from Twitter asking if you could go back to the slide before this one with your contact information. If that's okay. That's it.
That's it.
And that's the last question that I see. I'm just going to check in with Cameron to make sure that I haven't missed any in the places where we're live. But let me just say, and Cameron's confirming, let me just say again, my deep gratitude to Kara and Kayla and the Children's Advocacy Center of Hampshire County. I want to also thank the constituent who brought this concern to my attention, and just the constituent's own story and their family story was, a propellant enough for me to be on the lookout for resources. And then of course this precipitous and really, again, it was a privilege to tour the Children's Advocacy Center of Hampshire County, which is a resource right here in our midst who can address the kind of concerns this constituent brought. And I also want to say that in this region, so in the district, the Senate district we're in, there's the Franklin County Children's Advocacy Center. Also amazing people. I just happen to live very close to the Children's Advocacy Center of Hampshire County. And so I was there, but let me just say that these are both resources for us. In addition to Kara and Kayla's information here, if you want to get connected to Franklin County or want any other information, please don't hesitate to reach out to our Senate office. Kara and Kayla, any last words?
I just wanted to thank you so much for having us, giving us this opportunity. And I'd also like to say, if there are folks out there who not only need information around this online safety, please reach out. And, you know, right now it's kind of a scary time with so many kids not in school. Reports of child abuse in general are down. So if you're worried about a child in your life, please speak up and reach out to child welfare agencies or to the police department or to schools, or to just really use your platform to stand up for kids, because we need as many voices as possible to help our kids safe, right? And particularly when they're may not be at school all day. So thank you for giving us this time to talk.
Thank you so much. And Karen, Kayla, we have a request to share these slides from Carol. Will that be possible? Could we put these on the recording of what we've done here?
Absolutely.
Okay, so yes, we will do that. We will share these slides on the Senate page, and of course, Children's Advocacy Center will also have this recording. So in both directions, we'll get this out to folks. We'll also make sure that, actually, I'm reminded that we should make sure that District Attorney Dave Sullivan gets this recording as well. I'm sure his office is getting asked for these kind of resources all the time. I know, I see you shaking your head.
Yes.
Because, you know, this is the time we're in, friends. With that, again, just let me thank so much the Children's Advocacy Center of Hampshire County, Kara and Kayla, for your time and your expertise. As a mom, as a state senator for this region, I'm really, really grateful. And I'm sure this won't be the last time we speak. So thank you. I'm grateful to support you in the state Senate. It's been one of the places our team has dug in, seeing the value of your work, and that certainly won't stop. And thanks to everybody who tuned in and texted and messaged and posted questions. I'm sure there are more. We'll be ready to field them. So take good care, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.